A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to GWK Facecam Specials Insurgence Season 5, pretty much. And let me tell you, for the record, that this season is probably not going to be as big as most other iterations of Facecam Specials Insurgence thus far. It's going to have only 30 episodes. Each one is going to be about 8 minutes, 40 seconds in length, which is a bit shorter than what the episodes of The Enlightening Venture brought us earlier this year. But then again, considering the fact that I'm probably not going to have Facecam Specials Insurgents for that much longer, I really ought to say at this point that I've really had plenty of good time to put together a lot of plans for the future. Lots of plans that don't include this in particular, because this is basically just a bit of a walk in the park when it comes to my work in general, and I'm more than glad to be able to take care of it all for you. And let's also not forget, I've mentioned before that some of the games I will be playing will include this, Gran Turismo Sport. And of course we got ourselves a good race taking place with a really nice car, powerful, fast, and plenty of other unique things about it. And you can just see the jets in the sky that are basically painting a nice green, white, and red pattern, which is supposed to resemble the country's flag, the flag which that represents where we're racing at. And as you can see here with my, okay, nearly overshot the road right there. So, I mean, that's a good reason to have the line markers on to show you what's the optimal route to go down on, but also when to brake properly. Because when it turns red, which you'll be seeing right around here, okay, here we go, showing when I should brake properly, and that's a good thing to keep in mind in case you are in fact wanting to have some good times on a racing simulator like this. And as a result, I do feel like there's a lot of other things that could in fact try to be better than this. I've basically showed F1 2020, which I was able to get on PlayStation Now for free. It was also one of the first ones that I did during my second round of, well, PlayStation Now subscriptions. So I don't know if a third round could be possible, but it might be. You never know. But overall, though, I'm really seeing a lot of stuff on here that I really just like. And the fact is that Gran Turismo Sport could in fact be pretty much shoved to the side, especially with the upcoming Gran Turismo 7. Yeah, we're going to be getting a Gran Turismo 7. This really does feel like the 7 to me, and the other one should be 8, but just because it's called Sport doesn't mean it should be called 7. No, so, and the fact is that now we're getting a real 7. That's probably what's going to allow for this sort of case to be closed once and for all. So I don't really have any business going into it much further because of that. And you know what? I'm not really complaining, because this game is still, it's probably just my favorite Gran Turismo Sport ever. It's probably my favorite Gran Turismo title ever of all the ones that I played. And I've talked quite a bit about most of the others, including Gran Turismo 5 and 6, which were on the PlayStation 3 in 2011 and then in 2014. But above all that, I'm also seriously looking into a variety of other things. When it comes to gaming with KaijuForceNeo content that I have in recent times, however, I sure have quite a nice stock taking place, with another small stack of games that I was able to collect from others, pretty much. And not to mention, I was able to add in a few of my own to the mix, thanks to the vlog where we basically bought a PS5 together as one. And I'm more than glad that I was able to pretty much be a part of that operation when it happened last month. But then again, it's not really my PlayStation 5. I mean, I only just went there because I wanted to vlog the whole entire thing. Every now and then, I would pretty much have special kinds of vlogs like this. And I feel like that this month, I've kind of been slacking off on that part. So maybe I might have to come back and do some more of that stuff. So as you can see here, I mean, we're basically at this point here where, yeah, it just pretty much looks like I'm not really doing very good in the race, but it's only because there's only so much that you can endure. And now that I say this, I really feel like that's of all people out there who should be able to get the chance to know this kind of stuff pretty well, I really ought to say at this point that I probably am doing a lot better in the race than some others are right now. But I mean, this is just very similar to when I played F1 2020 now that I look at this. But this Audi that I'm driving right now, it's probably not the greatest that I've been able to drive within this game's environment. Yet again, I'm definitely looking at an environment that sure does have some real connections to these actual tracks that do exist in various parts of the world, including the famous Nuremberg Ring from Germany, pretty much. And then with many other things out there, considering different types of tracks that exist right now, it sure is a pretty beneficial outcome to get to know these kind of tracks in the virtual world, because maybe one day you might become a successful race car driver in the Grand Prix, the F1, or other types of tournaments relating to racing. Even NASCAR would probably have its own good share of these sort of simulations where you could indeed have these sorts of experiences. Considering the NASCAR games, though, I really feel like that with other people talking about them in such a negative way, it's probably best that I don't even bother with games like that. So I'm just going to leave it out of it. At least for right now. Let's also not forget about the fact that, well, looks like I'm going to overtake this Porsche. Yep, I'm doing it. There you go. I overtook the Porsche, and now I'm in 11th place right now on the podium. So I really do have a long way to go here, as you can see. I'm probably not going to be doing that good as opposed to most of these other racers that are currently on the track, but I feel like that's just only because if you look at the map up on the top right corner, you can basically just tell where I'm at on the track, and you know, that's just not really a good sign that this race is going to be that easy. But then again, we're basically just looking at something where it's supposed to be a simulator. It's supposed to really give you a first-hand look at the high-end difficulty that you might encounter through something like this, and maybe it's probably best that I just leave something like this IRL to the professionals. And I feel like that's just well said in my placement, but in all seriousness, I still do have a lot of tendency to provide some pretty practical arguments on this and give a lot of explanation as to why. But you can basically just look at this as something that I am indeed playing with confidence. And in terms of, well, other things, yeah, I'm still going to be in 11th place, and I'm probably still going to be racing this sort of track for a little while. So I'm really glad to keep on the extra footage and all that for occasions like this. But anyways, this is it for Facecam Specials Insurgence Part 5. I'll see y'all next time.